Hi guys, this is Jasmine McCann, and welcome back to our Little People Big Ideas podcast. Today we have some very interesting news and quite depressing as well. So prepare to be depressed if you're someone who is very feely emotionally touched. I know I am. Many people have heard about this already, but we are going to discuss this.
It has become recent that the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, France, has caught on fire. The Twitter news recap says a raging blaze is engulfing the centuries-old French historical monument, Cathédrale Notre Dame de Paris. And so a lot of people are going to say that they don't care because this is a religious monument. It's not just religious, it's historical. It's full of 100-year-old artworks that are burning
as we speak.
It's not just a French monument, it's a monument of our world. It's a monument of religion. It's a monument of culture. Like, this is a beautiful cathedral that is burning to the ground.
It was undergoing
Renovations.
project, and they speculate that the fire might have started because of some electrical issue, but regardless of how it started, the people of France, the Catholics, everyone who has seen it or knows about it, historians especially, they are probably deeply saddened. There's people crying on the river because I think this was the monument.
People should be saddened because, as people are probably going to see in pictures, the spire collapsed, which was monumental, was engulfed in flames and it collapsed. And
the roof fell in, the artworks,
the stained glass windows, which are famous and beautiful, and
I have pictures of those, but now
millions and millions of dollars, exploded. On Twitter it says that even though it's on fire, it can still be rebuilt, but it won't be the same.
Yes.
Because this is a
century-old Catholic cathedral. This is one of the original Gothic cathedrals that people built, and it was something huge.
Built in the 13th century.
So
it has seen its share of damage, including during the French Revolution. It was largely rebuilt in the 19th century, and
now it's gone again.
It's getting destroyed by fire.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what caused the fire. No injuries have been reported, and all nearby buildings have been evacuated. Artworks inside feared lost, and so that includes tapestries, paintings.
It'll be a miracle if their artworks survive.
And
for every Catholic and every person in France, especially France, that was their monument. When people think of France, usually people think of like Notre Dame, Eiffel Tower, just these beautiful Gothic cathedrals.
France, specifically Paris, is a center of many worlds. The fashion world, the romance, movie, theater. It's one of the religious centers, and it's on fire.
The artwork that was lost in Notre Dame was priceless. It was part of a culture. It was monumental. It's probably gone. It'd be a miracle if it survived again. Paris has small streets, big buildings. Surrounding areas have been evacuated, so that's always a positive.
Nobody's been reported hurt.
No casualties. No nothing. Except for the cathedral, of course.
Obviously, which is the biggest casualty of all.
I think it's definitely a hit on
everybody.
Everyone. The culture, the religion, the people. Everyone took a hit today. This is nothing to joke about for the time being. This was something that was very important to many people. And it's heartbreaking.
If you have been to France and seen the Notre Dame Cathedral,
you're lucky.
You're lucky. It will never be the same. It looks like half of it
is gone already.
Completely gone. Oh my god.
We're watching live video. There's stained glass. I think it's gonna burn it to the ground, honestly. They can't fight that. It's
People
huge.
ask why nobody's doing anything. It's just one of those things where you have to...
It hasn't gone to the two main tower, the whole spire, and the back area. It's gone. The perimeter still remains, but the inside's burning.
It started around 6:30 p.m. in Paris.
Which is... Right now it's 9:15 p.m. It's been burning for 3 hours. So for 3 hours this has been going on, and it's burning. There's nothing they can do about it.
100 years of history.
It's gone.
Just
burned out.
Burning.
The entire roof has collapsed. The interior is destroyed.
This is not a small fire, guys.
This is huge.
Nobody's gonna be able to see the same thing that hundreds of thousands of millions of people have
seen.
Seen.
The artwork, the glass, the statues. It was big. It's a big monument, but it's also now something that we will remember.
This is not just a problem for the religious community. It's a problem for every community. Architects, people who respect history, respect artwork, respect France. This isn't just one building, it's an entire country.
It's 800 years of
the entire
history.
World. It's not just affecting the French people, although they are probably getting the blunt of the problem.
Yeah, I can see the flames in this live video, and
they're tall.
You can see the flames. It's just smoke. It's in the center. It's destroying it.
So that's a lot of it that's going to be gone, and of course the exterior is
scorched.
They can always build off of the original, leave a little piece of the history, but let's see if we can get some of the history of Notre Dame Cathedral.
I'm looking at the Basilica of the Sacred Heart. I mean, Our Lady of Paris.
Notre Dame was such a beautiful church too. Well, towers, the gorgeous architecture.
Yeah.
The arched ceilings.
So that whole thing went down to the two towers, and now that side is up. And this side is, I think this side's still present, but this is gone. These two towers remain. You can see in the video. I'll have to get to the live video again. So right now we're watching the Notre Dame fire.
Oh wow, that's a lot of smoke.
Lot of smoke, a lot of damage. You can see the two towers zoomed out, and they're somewhere over here, but that's the side. There's the back end, and the two towers would have been over there. I think it's right here.
Oh wow.
It's burning. It's
definitely burning. Go down.
These are huge flames.
See what the news people say.
Yeah. Firefighters worked Monday to contain a fire at Paris's Notre Dame Cathedral. Images of the scene showed the 12th century landmark ablaze and parts of the cathedral collapsing in a massive fire. Throngs of tourists and locals gathered nearby to watch and take images of the fire. According to initial media reports, there are no deaths connected, and it's not immediately clear if anyone was hurt in the fire. The cathedral was undergoing a $6.8 million renovation project.
And if they decide to rebuild, that's going to be even more money.
So much time, so much money. I would do it. I would rebuild it. It's not going to be the same, but it's still a landmark. Yeah, the two towers are right there. That whole the spire was right there. That whole end is gone.
Oh. Goodness.
You can see the damage. So, there's windows over here.
And that's the front of the church.
That's the front. I'm just really hoping it's not getting to the front. I really am. I'm really hoping that it's going to stop and it's going to leave this perimeter.
I hope that
there's no one in there. I hope that there's...
I think that it's been burning for 3 hours. I think.
Yeah. Well, I hope there was no one in there.
I don't think there was. during the school year, there's probably not a lot of tourists.
Oh, they're zooming in on the towers. Don't burn.
Don't burn, please.
So the towers currently aren't burning, but they're putting water through the towers.
They're making sure that they don't burn.
Yeah. You can see that detail. We can see like the detail on the towers, and to have that much damage on a building fire that is engulfing a Catholic 12th century Gothic cathedral, it's huge.
And this is not a small fire, people. Like, it's 9 o'clock in France. You can see the light that's going on.
But right there, you can see it's just carving out.
Woodwork done by famous
Architects.
Artwork done by famous people. Artifacts that have gone up in flames. Tons of things.
What are the kinds of artifacts that were in there? We might as well just give a whole history lesson on Notre Dame.
Tapestries, statues, obviously stained glass, religious artifacts, probably some very valuable jewels.
1,600 artifacts. 1,600 relics from more than nearly 800 different saints.
Fragments of St. Joseph's robe, piece of Mary's hair.
Chips from the column where St. Paul was beheaded. The cross, which St. Peter was hung upside down.
Most of the relics are very small pieces of cloth or bone.
They're gone.
Many in the Requiliary Chapel are inside a locket-type medallion covered with glass, about the size of a quarter.
The only thing we can hope is that the relics were in the tower. That's literally the only thing. If they were in the center, they're gone. If they were anywhere near the back end of the church, they're gone.
They would have been crushed by the ceiling if they didn't get burned in the fire. And even if they didn't get crushed by the ceiling.
And you know there's going to be people sifting through and just hoping that something is left over. That is huge. Notre Dame, you don't really think that there's a bunch of artifacts there. There's a lot. There's pieces of Mary's hair. There's chips of the column. There's the cross.
The bell towers.
I know. That is horribly destructive. That is devastating. People in Paris are distraught. They're crying in the river, just watching this beautiful cathedral that they've seen.
They drive past it.
They've driven by it hundreds of years. They've gone past it. They've watched it. They've looked and toured through it, and now it's just gone.
They've gone on school field trips.
No more school field trips.
Or on these school field trips, they'll say, in 2019...
It burned. You see those huge flames? They're not going out anytime soon.
And when and if they go out, the burn mark on the basilica and the history books and the world.
So they're zooming in.
Oh, there's scaffolding that's falling down.
Yeah. So the scaffolding, it's gone.
It's probably reached the melting point of steel.
The flames have gone down a little bit.
Inferno. That it looks like
you can see the smoke over there, so the fire's spreading.
It looks like they're mainly focusing the water on the bell towers so that they can protect those parts at least.
There's water right there too.
There's probably going to be water damage too.
Oh yeah. If not fire, if not physical damage by the ceiling crushing things, there will be water damage. There's so many factors that go into what happens to this. You know, there could be also the wind. Maybe.
But it might carry the fire to the rest of the city.
They've evacuated.
Think about where
It's tightly compacted into multiple buildings.
Where is the Notre Dame in comparison to, like, the Eiffel Tower? Like, France is full of artifacts.
Like the Eiffel Tower is not going to burn down. It's not near there.
It can still things that could happen.
You can see there's a fire.
There's a park nearby.
Buildings nearby. There's stores. The river
is right next to it.
So they're probably getting water from the river if they don't
Yeah.
have it. So
I bet.
hotel, hospital, so.
Courtyard, there are restaurants. This is no small thing.
So right now these are the towers, right?
And the fire is...
The fire's right here.
Wow.
So this right here, this side that you see,
Mm-hmm.
they're going from over here. So this side is, the perimeter is still intact. I don't know about over here, but this side is still there.
The fire is right
there.
in the middle.
If it was on, the very end, it wouldn't be like such a big problem.
Well, it would still be a big,
It'd still be
problem.
a big problem, but it wouldn't be as big because you can protect the remaining. It's not just, we have to protect the whole perimeter of the fire.
And for those who don't know, Notre Dame is a kind of ovalish,
Gothic,
pill-shaped thing, and the fire is right in the middle.
So,
just picture like a racing track.
Yeah.
And like right in the middle of the racing track.
That's where the fire is.
That's where the fire is.
So this stained glass is still alive.
But from the heat, it might have exploded.
Maybe not currently, but it will probably.
Because that's what happens with fires.
We're gonna go around to the back end.
And so, if you guys are history lovers, care about architecture and artwork, please just keep France in your hearts and your minds. Please just
have French
hope.
Yeah.
Have the French community in your heart. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Hey you guys. This is the day after we originally recorded this. We recorded it way too close to the actual event of the fire, so we didn't know what was really happening. We didn't know what was damaged. We didn't know what was lost or what was saved. We didn't exactly know all the deep details. Okay, so this is the official report of the fire.
Yes, that would be nice.
So, on the scene, there were 400 firefighters who descended on the cathedral.
Descended?
Yeah.
Like angels from heaven.
Yes. And they were trying to tackle the blaze in the historic heart of Paris.
That's an actual thing. Like, people say that the Eiffel Tower is the heart of Paris.
No,
it's not. There's an actual piece of concrete in the Notre Dame Plaza that is the heart of Paris, and everything is measured from that little circle of concrete.
Yeah.
Little fun fact for you.
So the fire started in the attic of the cathedral at around 8:50 local time in Paris, which, if you don't know how to tell that, it's 18 minus 12, so it would be at 6:50. So the fire started at 6:50 in Paris. And within minutes, images and videos of the blaze were being shared around the world. Yeah, so...
But do they know how it started?
They think it has to be one of the construction workers because they left an hour before the fire started. So they might have left something on or something happened.
Like a radiator or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
And it started a fire.
Well, they're an idiot. Or like they forgot to put their cigarette all the way out or something.
Yeah, that could be it too.
Like a cigar or something. Just like...
Yeah.
Now we're gonna burn down an 800-year-old building.
Yeah. So it hasn't been determined what exactly caused the blaze.
Because the thing that caused probably got crushed when the ceiling fell.
Yeah, but we think it's one of the construction workers because that's one of the only possible explanations.
Mm-hmm.
The cathedral had been undergoing intense restoration work, which last week saw statues lifted from the top of the cathedral. This means that none of the statues of the 12 disciples, or I think something else,
like gargoyles.
Yeah, they were okay. They were
all
saved.
Okay. Your Disney dreams of Hunchback of Notre Dame are all still okay. The bell towers are okay.
Yeah. So, what happened was, okay, we don't know how to, it says on the local, which is a local website for the French, I actually had to translate this. So, they said that there wasn't any casualties because the workers had left an hour earlier. There was no one inside the cathedral. Everything's okay.
Everybody is okay.
Everybody is okay. Not everything. The cathedral's not okay, but...
The cathedral.
The
cathedral is not okay.
Yeah.
But it will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything gets better.
There was 18 high-pressure aerial hoses that were used to contain the blaze. That's how big it was. It was huge.
It wasn't like a tiny teeny. It was like a whoosh.
Yesterday we looked in, and the flames were going above the sides.
They were above the top of the spire, which sadly fell, but...
They were huge, so, yeah. Several drones and a robot were actually also pressed into action to assess the inferno. Firefighters also worked to protect the rear of the building, where the most precious artifacts are located.
Oh, yeah.
So, they protected the rear of the building, they protected the towers. If you walk in there, there's little quarter-sized, lockets, it looks like. And there's,
pieces of wood, pieces of clothing, pieces of bone.
Hair.
Hair.
So, that was not affected. It was between the two towers. The two towers, they started to catch on fire, but the firefighters put out that flame and traced it back to the middle. The fires are not in the tower. They do not know whether the vault, which protects the cathedral, has been damaged or not. We don't know if that is bad or good, so we're gonna have to wait on that. By 11 o'clock p.m., 11 at night on Monday evening, the fire service said that the cathedral's main frame had been saved and the structure was preserved. The two main towers have been preserved. 3 parts of the stone vault had collapsed, but that authorities were worried about the rest given that there were huge amounts of water-filled charred. Yeah. So the vault is okay. It's all okay. Nothing's burning. You can see the outside where it's scorched. You can see a lot. It's not exactly the best thing. According to the Chicago Tribune, we're going to assess what was saved and what was lost in the fire. First off, we have the crown of thorns. This is a relic of the crown placed on the head of Jesus Christ at his crucifixion, and was brought to Paris by King Louis IX in the 13th century. It is made of rushes wrapped into a wreath and tied with gold filament. Since 1896, it has been kept under glass and only occasionally displayed. It is displayed Lent, the week of Lent, and Good Friday, which is actually this week, so it was saved because of its timing. So that's a great thing. The tunic of St. Louis, a long shirt-like garment from the 13th century, is believed to have belonged to King Louis IX, was also rescued. What we don't know is the fragment of the Holy Cross and nail. The 9.45-inch piece of wood and 3.5-inch long nail are purported to be from the cross on which Jesus Christ is crucified. They were kept in cases, but the fate of the 2 relics is not known. We don't know what happened to them. We're going to look for them because that is one of the 3 holy relics. The organ that dates back to the 1730s and boasts around 8,000 pipes did not burn, but it's a very fragile instrument and it was damaged by water.
Which water damage is easier to fix than fire damage.
It is, and also it really saved it technically. Yeah. It's a beautiful organ though. The roof fell in on top of the pews in the altar. So the roof fell in on top of the pews in the altar. When firefighters came in, they took pictures, and miraculously, it didn't burn.
The altar and the pews were okay.
The crucifix was lighting up. Everything was saved.
The crucifix is metal, though.
Yeah. Well, it's also surrounded by, wood.
Mm-hmm.
And it could melt.
Yeah. It was like gold, wasn't it?
Yeah. The crucifix wasn't even touched. It was that good. It wasn't touched. The altar was not hurt. It might have been scorched, but you clean that off.
I'm sorry, but if y'all don't believe in God, this will make you.
Yeah. The bells. The bells were rung when the Twin Towers fell. World War II ended. They date back to
a long time ago.
A long time ago.
And I bet they rung them after the fire was over.
No.
They didn't.
They ran like other church bells, but not that one. It's still trying to assess damage. The famous stained glass windows of the Notre Dame.
Is okay.
There's 3 famed rose windows that date to the 13th century, and they are okay. As you can see, there's firefighters in this one. The stained glass windows are surprisingly okay.
Like, wow.
Yeah. The paintings are okay.
Wow.
They have not been damaged by fire, but there may be damage from smoke and water, which is okay. I mean, I've seen videos where they
you can restore
the
paintings. Like, there are people, that's their job.
Mm-hmm. The statues, the 16 religious statues on top were removed
before the fire.
And they were copper, so they were definitely a big part.
So, in a nutshell, it's all going to be okay?
Yeah. The relics, they made sure to protect them, and you don't know about this, there was a priest and some really brave men and women who created a human chain and grabbed all of these relics that they knew were important, even when it was burning.
A lot of people just like...
Even when it was burning, the roof was collapsed already. They were going in, and they were saving the relics because they're so important.
Mm-hmm.
So the 2 stone bell towers, perfectly intact. They're fine.
We love a cute fireman.
We do love a cute fireman. The oak spire is gone.
Of course.
It was the first to fall, and that's what gave way to the roof. 2/3 of the cathedral roof has been destroyed. There's pictures where they group in, and just a whole chunk of that just flew. And it's covering the pews. It was on the altar. It was right next to the crucifix. It was everywhere, but amazingly enough, nothing was hurt.
Everything is okay,
Yeah.
And since there are parts that are still there, they can model the things that need to be rebuilt after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they rescued a lot of their artifacts. They're being kept in a secret place. They will be dried out, restored, and kept safe until they can rebuild and restore Notre Dame. The cathedral's famous falling buttresses survived the fire.
Yes, they did.
They did. So that's great.
I've never seen those, but I've
heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, they're there. They're still alive.
Yeah. It needs to dry out from the firefighting efforts, and then they'll start looking for the artifacts that we don't know about, which is part of the cross and the nail, and possibly some other quarter-sized relics, but they're, like I said, right in the front. We have some great news. It's not as bad as you think.
I mean, it's
still pretty bad. Most of the relics are saved. The bells, the organs, the paintings, the sculptures, they were all saved. And if there is something that we did miss, do not judge us. We are going off of 4 different articles right now, and they still don't know the situation because they have to dry it out. But this is from photos that the firefighters took inside when they first came in and tried to assess the damage. So, I'm sorry if anything that we said survived didn't, and I'm sorry if anything that we said didn't survive did. I guess it's...
Things get lost in translation.
Things often get lost in translation.
From French to English and English to French.
Yeah.
But we have to go.
Yeah.
Thank you for bearing with my interesting voice.
Thank you for listening to us and keeping up with the fire. Make sure to keep up with the fire and the damage.
The people of France in your heart, in your mind.
They said, the President Macron, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. He said, in the solemn time, we are going to rebuild, and we're going to put
Mhm.
everything we have into rebuilding this as a community.
I saw the most beautiful thing. The people of France.
We're singing.
Everybody
and
were
crying
singing
and praying.
Ave Maria.
Yeah, I've watched a video of that.
I
It's
cried.
so amazing.
It was beautiful. Just
amazing.
It was beautiful.
I will put a.
It gave me
link
chills.
to-
I just got chills.
I will put a link to them singing and other news reports in the comment
Everything
section
else.
in the description, just so if you're wondering, you can check that out. It's really interesting. You might think it's stupid. It's actually really interesting, the history and like, oh, this guy wore this and this guy was like doing this. It's just crazy. There's been Napoleon was coronated there. There's been a bunch of French
There's
kings.
big things that have happened there. Like,
yeah.
It's not just like a tiny little church. It's like a big.
The coronations happened. The kings were like married there. People, there was miracles.
Marie Antoinette.
Yeah.
The French Revolution.
It survived
World
that
War
too.
One, World War Two. Lived through all of those things.
And now we have to
rebuild once more.
History repeats itself. It had a fire. It back in the 19th century.
I think so. Don't judge us. We might not be right.
Yeah, and it has a fire in the 21st century. But we will.
We got this, people.
We will learn from history. We will rebuild, and we will be happy.
Please, if you like what we're doing and want to listen to more, please subscribe and ring the bell.
Yes, ring the bell.
We will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.